Last summer, a woman drove up to my place from town with a golden retriever in the back seat. She'd spent $255 on a vet visit and prescription flea medication. 2 weeks later, the dog was scratching again. Same fleas, same raw skin behind the ears and across the belly. I'm 68 years old. I've worked livestock guardian dogs and herding dogs in these mountains for over 50 years. Right now, there are 14 dogs on this property. Big white guardians that sleep outside with the sheep, border collies that work the pastures all day, and a couple of old barn dogs that answer to nobody. Not a single flea on any of them. And what I spend on flea prevention for all 14 in a year is less than what that woman paid for one vet bill. Shepherds up here were keeping dogs flea-free before most commercial flea products existed. I've never bought Frontline, Advantix, or a Seresto collar in my life. And my dogs don't have fleas. The reason my method works when expensive products keep failing comes down to biology. Most commercial flea treatments only kill adult fleas, and adults make up roughly 5% of the total flea population living in your home. The other 95% exists as eggs, larvae, and pupae, buried deep in your carpet fibers, tucked into couch cushions and hiding in your dog's bedding. You apply the treatment, the adults die, you think the problem is solved, and then 2 weeks later a fresh generation hatches from the thousands of eggs already scattered throughout the house. The cycle repeats, and every round costs you another trip to the store or the vet. Worse, veterinary researchers have documented that fleas are developing resistance to the most common chemical active ingredients, the same way bacteria adapt to overused antibiotics. So the products are getting more expensive while becoming less effective each year. The pet flea treatment industry generates billions of dollars annually in the United States alone, and that revenue depends on you buying the same chemicals month after month, even as fleas learn to survive them. My approach works differently because it doesn't rely on a single product. It attacks fleas at every stage of their life cycle, in every location where fleas live, using things fleas physically cannot develop resistance to. There are three parts to the system. You treat the dog, you treat the house, and you treat the land around it. All three at the same time. I learned that the hard way decades ago, watching a full kennel reinfest itself twice before the old shepherd I apprenticed under set me straight. And the foundation of the whole thing is a bottle that costs about $2 at any grocery store in the country. Original Blue Dawn dish soap. Not the lavender kind, not the antibacterial formula. The original Blue Dawn in the regular bottle. This is the backbone of the bath I give every dog on this mountain, and it works because of basic chemistry. Dawn is a surfactant, which means it breaks down surface tension. When you lather a dog in Dawn in lukewarm water, the soap dissolves the waxy coating on the flea's exoskeleton. Without that protective layer, the flea's body can't retain moisture. It dehydrates and dies within minutes. This isn't a slow poison working through the nervous system over days. The flea's armor gets stripped away and it dies on contact. You can watch them stop moving right there in the bath water. But the technique matters just as much as the soap. I've watched people do this wrong for 50 years, and it's always the same mistake. Fill a bathtub or large wash basin with lukewarm water. Test it on the inside of your wrist the same way you'd test a baby's bottle. Wet the dog down completely, starting from the neck and working backward toward the tail. Before you scrub the body, take a ring of Dawn lather and apply it around the dog's neck like a collar. This is the step that changes everything. Without that soap ring around the neck, the fleas sense the water coming and run straight up to the dog's head and ears to escape. The soap collar traps them below the neckline with nowhere to go. Once the barrier is in place, lather up the entire body. Get into the armpits, the belly, between the toes, and around the base of the tail. These are the warm, hidden spots where fleas congregate. Let the soap sit on the coat for a full 8 to 10 minutes. Don't rush it. Keep the dog calm, talk to them, and let the dawn do its work. My guardians weigh well over 100 pounds each, and they'll stand still for it if you stay steady. Your dog will too. After 10 minutes, rinse thoroughly with clean, lukewarm water. Then, grab a fine-toothed flea comb. Start behind the ears and work down through the neck, across the back, through the belly fur, and all the way to the tail. Dip the comb into a small bowl of soapy water after every few strokes to drown any fleas or eggs the comb picks up. This catches anything the bath missed. When you pull the drain plug, you'll see them. Dozens of tiny dark specks floating in the water or caught in the drain screen. The water itself often turns a reddish brown from the dried flea waste that was embedded in the coat. That's the moment it clicks for most people, seeing just how many fleas were actually living on their dog the whole time. And that first bath is only the beginning. That one dawn bath kills every adult flea on the dog, but adults are only 5% of the problem. The bath handles the animal. The environment is still crawling with eggs, and that's where the second layer comes in. Apple cider vinegar is the daily shield that keeps new fleas from jumping back on after the bath. Raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother still in it. A bottle costs about $4 and lasts for months. There's been a jug of it in my barn for as long as I can remember. Mix equal parts water and apple cider vinegar in a clean spray bottle. After the dog is completely dry from the dawn bath, spray the mixture lightly across the coat. Focus on the back of the neck, the shoulders, the base of the tail, and the belly. You don't need to soak them. A light misting is plenty. The vinegar changes the pH of the dog's skin and coat, making it acidic enough that fleas find it repulsive. Fleas prefer alkaline environments, so an acidic coat is like a locked door. Apply this vinegar spray every 2 to 3 days between baths. During the humid summer months when flea populations explode in the valleys, my working dogs get sprayed every morning before they head out with the flock. The vinegar smell fades within about 20 minutes as the fur dries. You can also add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to the dog's water bowl each day. This works from the inside out, slightly changing the scent of the skin so fleas and mosquitoes find the dog less attractive. Start with a small amount and increase gradually. Most dogs don't even notice it in their water. During the colder months when flea populations naturally drop, you can scale the vinegar spray back to once or twice a week as a preventive measure. Up here, the winters do half the work for me. But a light routine year-round keeps your dog's skin pH in the acidic range and prevents infestations from ever building to the point where you're fighting a full outbreak again. But the bath and the spray only cover the dog. And if your house is still full of flea eggs, everything you just did gets undone within a week. Food-grade diatomaceous earth is the indoor weapon that makes the whole system permanent. This fine white powder is made from the fossilized remains of tiny aquatic organisms called diatoms. To your hand, it feels like soft flour, but under a microscope, each particle has razor-sharp edges. When a flea crawls through diatomaceous earth on your carpet or floorboards, those microscopic edges slice through the insect's exoskeleton. The flea loses its ability to hold moisture and dies from dehydration within 48 hours. And here's why this matters more than any chemical treatment. Fleas cannot build resistance to it. You can't adapt to being physically cut apart. It's not a chemical, it's a mechanical killer, and shepherds and farmers have relied on it for pest control for generations. My father used it in the sheep barns before anyone up here had ever heard the word frontline. Sprinkle a light dusting of food-grade diatomaceous earth across your carpets, along your baseboards, under furniture, on the dog's bed, and inside their crate, and around any area where the dog regularly sleeps or rests. Leave it down for at least 48 hours. Then vacuum it up thoroughly. Repeat this process once a week for 4 consecutive weeks. That 4-week timeline is not arbitrary. It covers the complete flea life cycle from egg to adult, catching every generation before it can reproduce. Pay special attention to the areas around door thresholds where the dog enters and exits the house, the edges of dog beds and crate liners, underneath couch cushions where the dog likes to sleep, and along baseboards near heat vents. Flea eggs settle into the darkest, warmest crevices of your home, and these are the spots where they accumulate the fastest. One safety note, and I don't say it twice: only use food-grade diatomaceous earth. Pool grade is chemically treated and dangerous to inhale. Even with the food-grade version, wear a simple dust mask when applying it and keep the dog out of the room until the powder settles into the carpet fibers. Once settled, it's perfectly safe. While the diatomaceous earth handles the floors, cedar handles the sleeping areas. The natural oils in cedar wood contain compounds called phenols that are toxic to fleas and their larvae. Every dog shelter on my property, from the guardian huts by the sheep pens to the barn corners where the old dogs sleep, has a base layer of cedar shavings under the bedding. Large bags of cedar pet bedding are available at any farm supply store for a few dollars. Replace the shavings every 2 to 3 weeks or whenever they start losing their woody scent. For an extra barrier, you can make a simple flea repellent bandana. Take a cotton bandana or strip of fabric, add 3 to 4 drops of cedar essential oil and 2 drops of lavender essential oil. Let the fabric absorb the oils for a few minutes and tie it loosely around the dog's neck. Think of it as a natural flea collar you can refresh with new drops every few days. The cedar repels fleas, and the lavender helps soothe irritated skin from weeks of scratching. Now, everything covered so far attacks fleas from the outside, but there's an internal layer that gets skipped entirely, and it makes a noticeable difference once it kicks in. Brewer's yeast is one of the oldest flea repellents used by working shepherds. You can buy it in powder or tablet form at any health food store or online. Adding about 1 teaspoon per 30 pounds of body weight to the dog's daily food changes the scent and flavor of the dog's skin in a way that fleas find extremely unpleasant. The effect isn't instant. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks of consistent daily supplementation before the full repellent effect builds up. But once it does, fleas avoid the dog entirely. Every dog on this mountain gets it mixed into the morning feed. Has for decades. A tiny amount of fresh raw garlic also supports the dog's natural parasite resistance. For a medium-sized dog, about a quarter clove of fresh garlic minced into their food a few times per week. The allicin compounds in garlic make the blood less appetizing to biting insects. Old shepherds have done this for generations without issue, but if garlic makes you uncomfortable, skip it and stick with the brewer's yeast alone. The yeast does excellent work on its own. You'll notice the difference in the dog's coat first. Dogs on a regular brewer's yeast supplement tend to develop a thicker, shinier coat within the first few weeks, which is a visible sign that the skin health is improving underneath. Healthier skin produces more natural oils that fleas find unappealing, so the dietary approach reinforces everything you're already doing on the outside. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I share what 50 years with working dogs has taught me every week. The cleaning routine is the part that separates people who get rid of fleas permanently from people who fight them all summer. You can treat the dog perfectly, spray vinegar every day, dust the carpets with diatomaceous earth, and still lose the battle if you're not washing the dog's bedding in hot water at least once a week during flea season. Hot water is critical. Cold or warm water will not kill flea eggs embedded in fabric. Run bedding, blankets, crate pads, and any washable dog toys through the hottest cycle your washing machine offers, then tumble dry on high heat. The combination of scalding water and sustained dryer heat destroys eggs, larvae, and adults buried in the material. Between washes, sprinkle fine table salt across your carpeted floors and let it sit overnight before vacuuming in the morning. The salt crystals work similarly to diatomaceous earth, dehydrating flea eggs and larvae on contact. A single box of table salt costs almost nothing and covers most of a house. Vacuum every other day during an active infestation, and after each session, take the vacuum bag or canister outside immediately and empty it into a sealed trash bag away from the house. Flea eggs can hatch inside a warm vacuum canister and crawl right back out into the carpet. It happens far more often than you'd expect. The spots that get missed the most during cleaning are underneath heavy furniture the dog sleeps near, behind doors that stay open flat against the wall, and along the strips of carpet right where it meets the baseboards. If your dog has a favorite armchair or corner of the couch, they always claim, that zone needs extra attention every single time you vacuum. Flea eggs roll and settle into the lowest, most protected surfaces around your dog's resting spots. The final piece of the system is the land, and this is the one that gets ignored the most. Fleas breed in your outdoor spaces before they ever reach the dog's fur. On a mountain pasture, the sun and the wind do most of that work for me. In a backyard, you have to do it yourself. Shaded, damp corners of your property are flea breeding grounds, under porches, along fence lines, beneath shrubs, and under piles of dead leaves. Keep the grass cut short. Fleas thrive in tall, dense grass where the soil stays moist and shaded underneath. Regular mowing exposes the soil to direct sunlight, and sunlight is one of the few things fleas genuinely cannot survive. There's a reason my dogs bed down on open, sun-baked ground and stay clean. Beneficial nematodes are a proven solution for outdoor flea larvae. These microscopic worms can be purchased online for about $15 to $20, and a single application covers a large yard. Mix them with water, spray them across the shaded areas of your property, and they burrow into the soil where they actively hunt and consume flea larvae. They're completely harmless to dogs, children, plants, and earthworms. They only target pest insects. Cedar mulch spread around outdoor dog resting spots, kennel areas, and along the perimeter of porches and decks creates a natural flea barrier. Replace the mulch once a season or whenever it loses its cedar aroma. Walk your yard and look for the specific spots your dog gravitates to on hot days. The shaded dirt patch under the back deck, the cool strip along the north side of the house, the mulch bed beside the porch steps. Dogs pick their resting spots the same way sheep pick their shade. And fleas lay their eggs exactly where the animals rest. Those are where your nematodes and cedar mulch need to go first. Treating the whole yard is fine, but concentrating on the dog's favorite outdoor resting spots gives you the fastest results. Now, there's a pattern I've seen constantly over 50 years, and it's the exact reason people say this doesn't work. Someone does one dawn bath in their bathtub, watches the dead fleas wash off, celebrates, and stops. 2 weeks later, the fleas are back and they blame the method. The method didn't fail. They stopped before finishing the job. Half a job is no job. That's true with fences, and it's true with fleas. A single female flea lays up to 50 eggs per day. After even 1 week of an infestation, hundreds of eggs are scattered through carpets, couch cushions, and along baseboards, waiting to hatch. Those eggs can sit dormant for up to 2 weeks before a new generation emerges. If you stop after one bath and one round of diatomaceous earth, every one of those eggs hatches untouched and the cycle starts over from scratch. You need to maintain the full routine for 4 to 6 weeks minimum. Weekly dawn baths, vinegar spray every 2 to 3 days, diatomaceous earth applied and vacuumed weekly, bedding washed in hot water every week, and frequent vacuuming during the worst stretch. 4 to 6 weeks of consistent treatment catches every generation of flea from egg to adult, and the population collapses completely. If you want to know what to expect week by week, it looks roughly like this. After the first dawn bath and initial round of diatomaceous earth on the carpets, you'll see a dramatic drop in live fleas on the dog. During week 2, a few new fleas may appear. Don't panic. Those are hatching from eggs that were already in the carpet before you started treatment. By week 3 and 4, each new hatch gets smaller because the diatomaceous earth and daily vacuuming are catching them before they can lay new eggs. By week 5 or 6, you'll go days without seeing a single flea anywhere in the house or on the dog. That's when you know the cycle is broken. The second mistake is treating only the dog and forgetting everything else. A freshly bathed, vinegar-sprayed, completely clean dog will pick up fleas again within hours if the living room carpet is still loaded with eggs or the backyard is a breeding ground. The dog is one part of a 3-part system: dog, house, and land. Miss any one of those 3 and the whole thing breaks down. And the third mistake is swapping in the wrong products. Generic dish soap is not the same as Dawn. The surfactant formula in Original Blue Dawn is specific, and it's the one I've used on every dog that's come through this mountain for decades. Don't substitute lemon-scented dish soap, hand soap, or shampoo. Original Blue Dawn costs $2. I run this system on 14 working dogs through every season and every kind of weather these mountains can throw at us. The total yearly cost for every dog on this property is less than what one vet visit costs for a single pet. The commercial pet industry sells flea prevention as a monthly subscription that only gets more expensive. But the people who've spent their whole lives working alongside animals figured out something cheaper and more reliable a long time ago. The ingredients are sitting on grocery store shelves and farm supply counters right now. No prescription, no appointment, no monthly subscription. Now you have the complete system: the bath, the spray, the powder, the feed, the house, and the land. Everything I've shown you here, plus what I use for ticks, mosquitoes, ear infections, itchy skin, stiff joints, and every other problem I've handled without a vet bill in 50 years of working dogs, is written down in one place. I put it all into the Shepherd's Dog Savings Manual. Every remedy, every measurement, every mistake to avoid, and what each one saves you compared to the vet bill, laid out step by step. the same way I'd explain it to you across my kitchen table. The link is in the description below. Get the book, follow the system, and stop paying for chemicals that stop working a little more every year.